Hi, I'm David Somerville, creator of Planegea, the Stone Age setting for 5th edition, and in this video I'm going to tell you the 9 reasons why your next D&D campaign should be set in the Stone Age. You ready? Let's get started. Reason number 9. Everything in D&D works in the Stone Age. I should know, I wrote a huge setting book about it, and just like in Eberron, everything that's in D&D is in Eberron. Everything that you love about D&D can unfold raw, wild, and reimagine the Stone Age. You can have dragons, you can have dungeons, you can have undead, you can have warfare, you can have anything that you want from D&D. Any monster, any people, any class, all of it can work in the Stone Age. Just do a little bit of reflavoring and it all works beautifully. Even things like spell scrolls, you can reimagine as a talisman that is broken open to release a spell. Wizards can paint cave walls with their spells instead of writing them in books. Every little piece of awesomeness in D&D, it all works in the Stone Age, and you can play a full, rich D&D campaign set in prehistory. Reason number 8. Dinosaurs are cool. Befriend them, tame them, fight them. Dinosaurs are awesome, and we only get to play with them a little bit in regular medieval fantasy, right? It's only when we go into the jungle or that one particular area. But who doesn't want to just be riding a pterodactyl all the time? Okay, pterodactyls are too small, I know this, but who doesn't want to be best friends with an Allosaurus, or to have a blood feud with a T-Rex? To have dinosaurs throughout your setting, go full Flintstones, full Dinotopia, it is awesome. It is so much fun to have just a dinosaur-soaked environment. Reason number 7, your group are the first heroes. You can become legends, even gods. Your names can literally be written in the stars. And the story that unfolds at your table is the story that shapes the world. And that is awesome. Reason number 6, on a related note, big prequel energy. It is that awesome feeling of, if you've had a homebrewed game and you have landmarks or cool things that appear, or if you're playing in the Forgotten Realms and you have famous villains or cities. In a Stone Age game, you can show the roots, the first little taste of all of that. You're able to show the first glimmer of what will someday be a major villain, a major location, and especially if you've been playing with the same group for a while, or if the group knows existing lore a lot, you can just say like, "Oh, that's interesting. Look over there. A 5-headed dragon hatchling. That's kind of weird. We're gonna move on." And they'll all know what that is. And that is so much fun. Reason number 5, kinetic action. Meaning action that's constantly moving. Everything is in motion. The world is primordial. It is all happening now. It's all evolving. Everything is unpredictable and wild. And when you're fighting, you're not fighting for an abstract concept. You're fighting for your clan, for your life. You are not sending an army out. You're not being sent into some, unknown land where you don't really have a stakes in things. You're fighting on the side of a volcano against an infinite horde of giant tarantulas, because if you don't, you and all of the people that you know of in the whole world will die, because you only know this small group of people that you will fight with your life for. It is everything is up close, everything is personal, and it's all red and fang and fury, and it is it's so good. It's so pulse pounding, bare knuckled D&D pulpy goodness. Reason number 4, primordial horror. There's so much you don't know about the world. There's so much that the characters can't explain. And if you're the DM, you don't have to name monsters. You say this thing comes out and you describe it. It could be a moose. It could be a beholder. It doesn't matter. You're describing this weird thing that's never been seen before, and that makes it scary, and that makes it unpredictable. They hear things they can't explain. They see things they can't explain. You can use taboos. You can mix up monsters. You can apply traits from one monster onto another monster. because it's prehistory. That thing hasn't found its final shape yet. And choices that the players make might, kill off a whole line of those things. And again, you're shaping the world, and everything is scary, everything is weird, because it's all open to change, because this is before anything is written down, before we know anything. It's the Stone Age. Anything can happen, and most of it doesn't have an explanation. Reason number 3, mystic wonder. Imagine a game set in the wilderness, and the wilderness is wild. We're not talking about Robin Hood. We're not talking about King Arthur. We are talking about primordial jungles, volcanoes, ancient deserts, ice ages, just like all of the most extreme environments packed close together, just jammed up against each other so that you can just hop from one to another, explore all of that full wilderness. But also the idea that the gods haven't formed all the way yet. The idea that there is so much possibility, that magic could be raw and wild and just being discovered now, that the things that will be gods are evolving, or the first gods are sort of fighting with their children who will become other gods. This idea that anything can happen, and that can be beautiful and lyrical or terrifying. This idea that it's all happening now, and magic is just as unpredictable as monsters. Reason number 2, uncover the bones of D&D in prehistoric fantasy, because prehistoric D&D plays a lot like sword and sorcery. If you've watched the show Primal, or if you've ever seen 10,000 BC, or if you just love reading some of the books that inspired the beginnings of the game, this idea of sort of the hero against the wilderness, or the hero against sort of a civilization that might be corrupt or unknowable, these ideas are like deeply entrenched in the origins of D&D. And when you play prehistoric fantasy, because you are sort of like going from these small strongholds into wilderness, because you are facing things that you can't understand, because the stakes are personal, you're playing closer to the original game than if you're playing sort of heroic medieval fantasy. And reason number 1 to your next D&D campaign should be set in the Stone Age is the Star Shaman Song of Planegea. This is a full setting book that takes place in a Stone Age world. It makes it so easy to run a game here. There are kinships, there are classes, there are villains, there are allies, there's equipment, new spells, new monsters, monster templates, stuff on gods, stuff on clans, how to migrate, different kind of adventure environments, new rules for how the sky works, new rules for how the land works. There is an infinite, almost, wealth of adventure in this one document, and also in the idea of Stone Age fantasy. It's all there for you. It's available right now. And whether you're running an entire long-form campaign in Stone Age fantasy, whether you're running a quick one-shot, whether you're tucking Stone Age fantasy into a part of your world, whatever you're doing, the Star Shaman Song of Planegea has material that you'll be able to grab out, drop onto your table, and send your players into a wilderness of adventure like nothing they've ever seen before. And those are the 9 reasons why your next D&D campaign should be set in the Stone Age. I'm David Somerville. There's links to the Star Shaman Song below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.